Hey, David, it's great to have you on this side of the camera.
I don't know if it's great for me, but here I am.
Here you are. You know what I love about you is that you have continually, in my time that I've known you, given God your unconditional yes. And it hasn't always been easy, but you experienced the blessing of doing that. It seems like that's been your history too, huh?
Yeah, I guess I have some history. The way God brought me out here to Hawaii almost 20 years ago. I came out with a couple of college guys. We graduated together, and we bought one-way tickets. Didn't really know anybody out here. Never been here before, but we really felt God calling us to Hawaii. And then more recently, my business partner and I, we'd been in business about 15 years together. And had our own software company. But we really kind of felt like it was time for a new chapter in our lives. God was telling us, to go our separate ways. And so he made it actually possible for my business partner to buy me out of our company. So I was jobless as of June of last year.
Wow, it's June of last year.
Yeah.
With obviously no knowledge of what was going to hit in 2020.
Right. Yeah. So, I was enjoying, I was loving it. I was able to just spend time with my family. It was good until, come the end of the year, I started beginning to think, well, you know what, I need to find a way to provide for my family. I was thinking I'd do some photography stuff. I have a photography business that I'd never really gotten started, but I was thinking, okay, this will be how God's going to provide for our family. But that wasn't really going anywhere. I was really starting to worry, and that would come and go as I just get reminded that God's in control, but it's hard when the screws are getting turned. Yep. And things are getting tight.
That's a real life thing, because you're such an optimist. You are all the time positive. But I do remember some interactions toward the end of the year where I could see that just the weight of it, and it's the weight that all of us experience, because the life of faith doesn't mean that there's no problems. The life of faith actually means that we have something to help us overcome those problems. And I saw you wrestling with that feeling of like, what's going to happen when?
Yeah, for sure. And then, we're getting to the beginning of this year, and, all of a sudden there's a pandemic. We needed video crew and, figure out how to do church online. There's so much work to kind of get ready for that and figure out how to do it all. And, God had me in a place where, I could spend a lot of time working on that. And not only was I able to help, I think, but, God kind of gave me a little bit of a purpose too at that point, which has been really, really good for me, just to feel like, I'm doing something useful. And I feel like God's really got me where he wants me.
That's awesome, because I remember having a conversation with you, and you said, I'm not exactly sure what one thing I'm good at, but I'm good at a lot of different things. And then this situation came up where we were locked down and we needed to video, and you pulled together a team and you learned a lot of different things. And we are tremendously grateful for that.
It's just so cool to see how God works. We've had this little season of the last few months where I've been super involved. But even now, God kind of had me still looking for a job, and started providing, actually. So I'm starting my new job this coming week.
That's awesome.
So it's a new season for me, but again, I want to give God my unconditional yes, and I really feel like he's leading me in this direction.
That's right. What would you say to somebody who's hesitating? Because I think all of us come to those places where to give God our yes means to take a risk, to stretch in faith, and to go into unknown territory like you've done. What would you tell somebody, though, that's hesitating with giving God their unconditional yes?
Right. Well, like I was saying, it can be scary to give God your yes. There's a lot of uncertainty and all, but it's only scary until you realize that God loves you so much. And, just like your parents, they wouldn't put you in a situation that they knew wasn't safe for you or that you couldn't handle. And God, even more so, if he's calling you to something, if he asks you to give him your yes, he's not going to ask you to do something that he's not going to be there 100% with you and give you the ability to do, give you the whatever you need. He's not going to leave you in the lurch. And that's what I'd say is so encouraging to me, is something that I've had to learn, through the good and the bad. That God, if he's telling me to do something, he's going to be there with me to do it and make sure it's done.
Yeah, that's so good. You love it when I say it.
I do.
But that's so true. That's so true. And that's what faith looks like, right? It looks like giving God your yes. And you were telling me it frees you.
That's
it
right.
frees you, right?
Yeah. You have this, it's like a burden that's come off when you realize, yeah, it's going to be difficult and there's going to be challenges along the way. But again, you just, instead of focusing on the challenges and on the uncertainty, you focus on what you do know, right? Like you were saying before, I know that God is powerful, that he is over all things, that he's not going to give me something that I can't handle, especially with his, with him beside me.
Right.
And that is so freeing, because you realize, it doesn't rely on me. God's not really relying on me. He just wants me to come alongside him and to do the things that he's calling me to do.
David, I really appreciate you joining me on this side of the camera this week.
Yeah, it's not my preferred side of the camera, but I kind of almost felt like telling you no when you asked me.
Even more so, I appreciate you giving me your unconditional yes. I think a lot of people were blessed. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Pastor Greg.
Yeah.